Most of us see conflict as a total failure, a sign that something's gone completely wrong. But what if that's a huge misunderstanding? What if conflict, when you handle it the right way, isn't actually a problem to be solved, but a real opportunity to get stronger? In this explainer, we're going to flip the script on how you think about conflict.
So let's just start with a number that should make any leader sit up and listen. Research shows that managers spend, on average, a full 25% of their time dealing with workplace conflict. Just think about that for a second. That's an entire day, every single week, just putting out fires. And this begs a really critical question. We automatically look at that 25% and think, wow, what a waste of productivity. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if that time isn't a cost at all, but an absolutely essential investment in the health of your team?
I mean, it's a totally natural reaction, right? We're kind of taught from a young age that fighting is bad. And in a professional setting, it feels like a breakdown of the system, a failure of teamwork. Our gut instinct is to just shut it down or, run the other way. But that instinct, as we're about to see, is actually leading us down the wrong path.
Okay, so this brings us to the core idea. We have to reframe conflict. It's not a failure, it's a diagnostic tool. Seriously, think of it like the check engine light in your car. The light isn't the problem, right? It's just a signal telling you that something deeper, under the hood, needs your attention. And this is all about separating the symptom from the disease. That fight your team had over a missed deadline, it's probably not about the deadline. It's a huge signal that roles are unclear. That big disagreement over strategy, it could be a sign that the team doesn't have the resources or even the authority to get the job done. These little surface-level fights, they're just a fever. The real infection is systemic. And what happens when you ignore these signals? Well, you risk creating something that conflict theorists call a protracted social conflict. And this is where things get really messy. It's where the original cause gets completely lost in personal grudges and attacks. The debate is no longer about what is wrong, it becomes about who is wrong. And that is a destructive cycle that just grinds everything to a halt. So, how do we get from all this theory to actual practice? I mean, recognizing conflict as a signal is a great first step. But what do you actually do with that signal? All right, let's build ourselves a toolkit for handling this stuff constructively.
The right mindset really starts here with Sun Tzu. The goal isn't to win the argument or to prove that someone else is wrong. No, it's to solve the underlying problem in a way that makes the entire team stronger. You're trying to subdue the problem, not the person. A super powerful tool for this comes from a former FBI negotiator, Chris Voss. He calls it tactical empathy. Now, this is not about agreeing with the other person. It's just about showing them you understand where they're coming from. A simple phrase like, "It sounds like you feel your work isn't being valued," can completely change the dynamic. It lowers their defenses and lets the real root cause finally come to the surface.
Now, for handling those direct, personal attacks, humor can be an amazing disarming tool. There's this famous story where Stephen Douglas called Abraham Lincoln two-faced during a debate. Lincoln's reply was legendary. He just said, "If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one?" See what he did? By agreeing with the insult and then exaggerating it, he just sucked all the power out of the attack. He ended the fight before it could even start.
But here's the thing. These individual tools can only take you so far. To really truly harness the power of conflict, leaders have to build a culture where it's actually safe and even productive to use them.
As the leadership expert John C. Maxwell famously said, everything rises and falls on leadership. A leader's reaction to conflict sets the tone for the entire organization. If you avoid it, if you punish people for disagreeing, you just create a culture of silence where problems fester right under the surface, waiting to explode.
So, for any leader watching this, here is your mandate, your playbook. First, take a hard look. How does your team really handle conflict? Then, you got to reflect on your own behavior. Ask yourself, am I part of the solution here, or am I actually part of the problem? Then, take real action. Provide training, create clear guidelines, and most importantly, you have to lead the way. You model the behavior you want to see. You show your team that it is safe and in fact necessary to engage with this friction constructively. So, the next time you feel that tension of a disagreement rising, don't run from it. Reframe it. See it as an opportunity. Because it's that very friction that sharpens your team, that reveals the hidden flaws before they become fatal. So, welcome it. Welcome the friction.